Welcome to the Overcome Medica Hair Loss Summit. My name is Valerie Fuentes. I'm your host, and today I am with Suran from the Strandy. Thank you so much for being with us again. Suran was with us last summer, this summer, the Unapologetic Badasses series, and I just loved our interview and what you've been doing since then. Because I mean, it's been a short period of time, but you have done a lot of things since then. So I wanted to bring you back, and I'm just excited that you're here to share with us. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me, Valerie.
Of course. So one thing I wanted to start with is back in June when we started chatting. That's when everything transpired here in the United States with George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement. And a lot of people in social media that are influencers and even non-influencers started talking about it. And I noticed that some people chose to remain silent and some people chose to, start talking about it. But everybody has their own opinion, and nobody's an expert, right? So I sat quiet for a moment and just watched, and that observation, I realized that in the hair loss community, not a lot of people were talking, like close to zero. And you were one of those, like one of the very few that chose to actually embrace this opportunity to speak up and highlight the Black voices in our community. And a lot of your findings were extremely interesting. I was part of the live that you did on it, like that week, I believe. And I learned so much. Honestly, I
did too.
like, yeah, I was, yeah. So let's talk about that, because there is so much just within that topic. And yeah, thank you for leading that for us in our community.
Yeah, thank you. It's such a tricky topic. I think at the core, it's a privilege for a lot of people to not be impacted by politics, race specifically. And but for me, being minority, it was really important for me. It impacted my life directly. Asian Americans benefit from, the relations historically that have happened between Black and white people. And I just felt like it was my responsibility to speak up about this, first of all. And I mean, second of all, it's still continuing. Recently with Jacob Blake, I mean, this is not stopped. And it's incredibly frustrating and sad to see this, even after, thousands, hundreds and thousands of people went to the streets and expressed their anger and frustration that nothing has changed, nothing significant. I think, like, talking about specifically with hair, I think that's a really, really deep topic to unpack. I think we just scratched the surface, but I was really determined that it wasn't just a discussion, that we had to do something about it. And so specifically what we've done since we've had our first live talking about race and hair on Strandy for SilkorLace, the marketplace that I founded, we have worked with Black influencers. We are working to integrate a Black-owned brand into our platform, and are reaching out constantly to work with them, and most importantly, to learn from them. I think that this requires ongoing discussion and is something that I've been working really hard in the background. But right now, in terms of actual progress, we have worked with Black influencers, integrating a Black-owned brand, and really working hard to show that, specifically for hair is for everyone. It shouldn't see color. It does, but it shouldn't see color.
And when you say that it does, what do you mean by that?
I think that was one of the key things that we discussed during the live, is that maybe it's implicit, but a lot of the times it is explicit, that a lot of people think that there are certain wigs or hair pieces for Black women and wigs and hair pieces for other women, mainly white women. And there are even certain language terms that we
Right.
use that we associate with Black women, black wigs for Black women and wigs for white women. And how sometimes as a community, we try to separate ourselves from the Black community with language. So for example, we don't call wigs weaves when a lot of Black women do. And there's really no reason why we shouldn't call wigs weaves, but we do to kind of differentiate the pieces that we wear versus what they wear. And so things like that, it just seems like if you break that down, unpack it, it really comes down to subconscious racism. And so I think being aware of those things, and then also things on the website that we've done, for example, talking about hair texture versus like whether it is wavy or curly versus it being for Black women or for white women, I think is a more accurate and a more open and inclusive way to talk about hair, is kind of what we've discussed during our first live.
Got it. I like it that you said that, because when I first was gonna start wearing hair, I remember telling a friend, I want to get a topper wig, and I was feeling insecure about it, and I was asking for her opinion, and I said, what do you think, blah blah blah, and her answer right away was like, Val, Black women have been wearing hair for so long, there is no different, right? And that just hit me like, you're right. Like, this is, and is so normal in the Black community to wear hair, but it never crossed my.
They know better than all of us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they're truly the experts at the end of the day, I feel like. And just like, also, well, for me, finding out that a lot of Jewish women, when they get married, when they're Jewish Orthodox, they also started wearing hair. The more I started diving in, I realized that hair and culture and race is like, it's so like intertwined, right? Like, and but it's so hush hush and taboo that I feel like we need to have these conversations, because that's the only way we're going to normalize hair wearing, right?
I mean, I think that's such a, particularly for Black women, it's such a heavy topic to unpack because, some Black women have worn wigs because they wanted their hair to look more quote unquote white. But now, I think having talked to Jessica, the owner of Lavish Locks, Black owned wig shop, it's more of a celebration of what you want your hair to look like and being able to change up your look, same as us. But I think she mentioned when we had our live with her is that like there's a fine line between celebration and appropriation, and it starts with the language that we use regarding wigs and hair pieces, where we can start celebrating instead of appropriating.
What was your biggest learning from? I mean, I know there's a lot to uncover still, but what was your biggest learning from this life with her, this experience?
I mean, I think it was really eye-opening to just realize my own biases. I mean, even as a female minority, I think that subconsciously in my mind, I was thinking about wigs for white women and wigs for Black women. I think that we all have subconscious biases, and I definitely thought that in my mind. And I thought that, Black women just had different wigs that they wore. And having talked to Jessica and having an ongoing relationship with her, I mean, I've known her and featured her on Strandy, for over a year now. And I just realized actually the pieces are the same. And I think that was the most eye-opening for me, is that, I myself need to do better. SilkorLace needs to do better. We didn't have any Black influencers or worked with Black influencers before the Black Lives Matter movement, and that was a shame. And so I'm just learning about, like I need to do better. And these are some of the ways I can do better.
Love it. How do you think we can do better as consumers?
I think it's, for me, kind of low hanging fruit, really easy thing that we can do is make friendships with a diverse community, and learn from them and share with them. And I think taking these steps, like going out of your way, if you just like you DM, someone in the hair loss community, you can easily DM someone outside of the hair loss community, in the wig community, Black owned brands. You can reach out to them. I think that that's something really easy that we can do to start, truly integrating and truly learning from each other. I think brands have a long way to go in being inclusive, SilkorLace included, but one way is like working with influencers that are Black and working with other brands that are Black owned. I think that is very straightforward and easy and something that we can all do.
Absolutely. Definitely straightforward. Okay, so speaking of SilkorLace, I know you have just started a new branch, I would say, side of the
Yeah.
business that I'm really excited about because I think there's definitely a need. So can you tell us about how would you say that?
SilkorLace.
Yeah, SilkorLace, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for asking. Um, I it actually really came out of like a COVID pandemic pivot from a business standpoint. There is a wide hair shortage in this community and in the world for hair and hair pieces. Um, and it just got me thinking, like, what are some of the ways that they can still help this community? Where are still some unmet needs? And having talked to a lot of people on Strandy on DMs, I know that there is a ton of people that have at least one piece sitting in their closet that they are not wearing, and it is collecting dust. It's a beautiful piece, but it just doesn't fit them, or its color's not right for whatever reason. And I just thought, like, why can't someone else wear it? Like the ways that we can kind of share knowledge. Why can't we share hair in this community? There are free platforms like Facebook groups. Trading tresses on Instagram is really great. But I just felt like there wasn't really one that kind of made it a safe transaction for people. And on SilkorLace, we already have the infrastructure, smart filters, and ways that we can, the payment platform and the search platform. And so why not use that to power a for lightly used, lightly worn wigs and toppers. So yeah, that's
awesome. So what's the process? Just okay, let me back up because you said something that I want to understand, and I think some people might want to understand too. Why is there a shortage? Right?
Why is there a shortage? Well, I think it's very similar to everything else every other good in the world right now. I think the biggest issue is labor. Not everyone can work right now with the COVID pandemic. And then when they do work in the factories, they have to space a lot of the labor out, so the capacity is lower and production is lower. So overall production is lower. And that goes with every part of the supply chain, from collecting the hair to sewing the wefts to hand tying the silk parts. Distribution, every single part is very slow, and so that's kind of the bigger reason for the shortage.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if it was that like manufacturing, or if it was the maybe the shipping, if you were having trouble like shipping from China to here or whatever. I'm assuming that's also an issue, right?
I think shipping has been unpredictable, but overall, I'd say 90% of the shipping has been smooth, no delays, even international shipping. But there are exceptions.
Okay.
for sure.
All right. So tell us about the process. If I have a piece that I want to sell, then what do we do?
Yeah, so we have a link on our website under SilkorLace, and you just fill out an application form, just telling us a little bit about the piece, sending us a couple of pictures, and we send you a shipping label. You send us the piece, and we handle all of the work for you in terms of emailing and answering all the questions that come from potential buyers and taking professional pictures and handling the payments. So once the piece sells,
Mhm.
then we pay you via PayPal and you get the funds. Think of it like the
Awesome.
real
And
real
what
for hair.
that sounds awesome. So, do you uh, like would you be evaluating the piece? Like are you going to have certain criteria? I mean, what the reason why I'm asking is like if I send you my piece, is there a chance that you say I can't sell this?
Yeah, I mean, we do try to take as many pieces as possible just because I feel
Mhm.
like most 95% of the time you can try to figure the piece out and kind of do little tweaks to it or like do something that makes it usable for someone. um,
Mhm.
but if it doesn't work out, let's say we send you a shipping label and it doesn't work out, then we just send it back to you at our cost, so it
Okay.
makes it really easy.
Okay, awesome.
Does that answer your
So
question?
I know you just got a new batch because you had a lot of people send you stuff, right? So
Yeah.
when are they going to be available? Because they're not available yet, right?
Yes, so we are actually launching tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central.
Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah, I took a little bit of break here for the interview, but other than that, all day today I will be posting up the pieces. We have some previews on our Instagram at re_silkerlace. But yeah, they will all be live tomorrow. I think we have about 26 pieces for the launch.
How exciting. Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
can't wait. So by the time you'll be watching this is going to be live. And yeah, you have to go check that out. Okay,
Yeah.
so another question that I had for you. I'm super excited to hear that you're trying to get pregnant.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, so like that's definitely probably one of the things that's next for me. And why I want to talk about this is because I think fertility and hair loss is like a big topic in the community, right? A lot of women lose their hair when they get off birth control, and then I've also heard that a lot of women get a ton of hair back while they're pregnant, and then they lose it. Do you have any fears around that with your hair and like pregnancy?
Oh gosh, I feel like hair loss now is the least of my concerns. I haven't even thought about it. But that would have been completely different a year ago, over a year ago when I found hair pieces. Um, but no, I do not think of it at all.
Zero. That's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I lately is so interesting because a few women that I've interviewed for this series have
Yeah.
had a lot of like big sheds during their pregnancies or after having their babies.
That's what
So
I
I know
hear.
that's a big thing. But like you said, it's like I feel like once you start wearing hair and you're used to it, it removes that stress almost.
Yeah, thank God for
Do
hair
you
pieces.
have any like how do you feel about your hair overall then now? Like, are you completely over it? Your hair
Yeah,
loss?
I think I am. I feel like I don't even look in the mirror anymore to see my hair growth progress. I care, I guess, but it just doesn't cross my mind. Before I used to avoid the mirror because I didn't want to see my hair, but now I just don't look in the mirror because I'm just too busy like thinking about other things around my life. And so it just has become a very non-concern for me. What about you? What are your thoughts around that?
Well, so actually, I'm glad that you're asking because I think I share with you guys that I don't know, did I have this piece when I don't know that I had this piece when I met you, but I
Okay.
recently, like this year during COVID, I transitioned from my hair system to hairs on toppers. So it's been
Yeah,
years that
I
I
remember you talking
haven't
about that.
experienced myself, right, without the hair,
Yeah,
or like have had a chance to take care of my own hair, I guess.
yeah,
And I'm not concerned. Honestly, I'm over it. But what I'm finding more is that I do want to take care of my bio hair,
yeah,
right? And so I don't know if that makes sense, because at the same time, it's
yeah.
like it's so little that who cares? But I feel like I want to nurture it, like I want to, apply something that it's good for it, and like make sure it's healthy, right? It's like, it really is like 3 strands, but I want to make sure it's good. I don't know if like, do you care? Do you like take care of it? Do you go to the salon, or do you, yeah.
No, yeah, actually, I'm glad that you brought that up. For me, like, I care less about my natural hair because for me, it's like it's dead. There's not really much I can do about it. For me,
Right.
I am huge though on scalp care. I think your
Okay.
scalp, your skin, and so that's really important to me. But I guess I don't think about it too
Mm,
much because I've like gotten into a good routine that works for me using really gentle products. And making
mm,
sure that I'm getting my massages, scalp massages in the shower, things like that. But I guess I separate those two in my mind, my scalp and my hair. I don't really care about my hair, but I do really, really care about my scalp because, as you mentioned, like it comes down to our health. So that's a little different for me.
yeah. And that actually makes a lot of sense, that there are different things.
Hmm.
And on that note, I did learn from you actually in one of your posts about the ah, I just lost the word. To protect your scalp from the sun. What's the word?
Oh, from the UV.
Sunscreen for your scalp.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that I had never ever used before, right? Because I had a hair system, so I didn't need it.
yeah.
And that has been life changing, because here in Florida, I mean, it was killing. Is there anything outside sunscreen that you think that we should start using, just for the newbies like me, so we don't hurt
Yeah.
ourselves?
So I actually put the same sort of sunscreen and heat protectant on my wigs and my hair toppers as well, because hair,
Mm,
even though it's dead, it still gets damaged from UV rays. So I actually do it on my, even when I wear my hair pieces. I don't do it when I wear a hat, for example, but I do wear UV hats. For your scalp, as you mentioned,
do you use it
uh,
on a regular basis though,
I wear
like the
hats on
UV
a regular
protector?
basis now, to be completely honest. I don't even wear,
Okay.
like, with COVID, I don't wear hair pieces. I wore this for this interview because I wanted to look good for you, Valerie. But
Thank you.
otherwise, I don't wear hair pieces these days. But when I do, yes, I do spray it, just a quick light spray every time. Um,
Okay, cool.
so, as you mentioned, for your scalp, for us thin haired ladies, more of your scalp is showing because you have less hair. And so that makes it really important to protect your scalp. And so I do a quick, um, either a UV spray or a heat protectant. A lot of heat protectants have UV protection.
Mm,
And so I do that. But otherwise, I pretty much don't do anything in terms of heat protectant for my scalp. Was that your question, or
mm.
scalp care in general?
Well, both, really. So, yeah.
For my scalp, I always, I think I've made a huge transition over the last year to use very gentle products. So
Hmm.
sulfate free is most important, but
Right.
silicone free if you can, shampoo and conditioner. And you want to be able to, um, it, it doesn't really need to lather, but it does need to kind of clarify your scalp once in a while. So I do use like a sulfate shampoo once, probably like once every other week, to just like clean
Hmm.
everything out. I avoid dry shampoos and dry powders that, what is that? That Bumble and Bumble tinted dry shampoo that
Right.
everyone's using, like things like that, that you don't really know what the ingredients are. You have to peel back a
Yeah.
label that's like covered in tape to see that it has talc in it. So things like
Mm.
that I completely avoid, and using rose water to be able to clarify my scalp. I have a whole routine. I could go on and on about this, but I think the most important thing is to just use very gentle products and make sure that you are clarifying your scalp.
This is so helpful. And I also think I've seen that you go out on a walk. I'm not sure if you're like hiking, like if it's a really tough workout, but I do work out every day.
Yeah.
And I still don't know, should I wash my hair every day or not? Like, do you wash your hair, like wash it, or not really? You buy your hair.
I if I don't work out, which is most days, to be completely honest, I wash my hair every 2 or 3 days now.
Okay.
But if I work out, I'll wash my hair. I have transitioned to this new shampoo. It's called Hair Story that doesn't lather at all. Like it's a cream-based shampoo, which has been a huge transition for me. It's not for everyone. I feel like you can't be like going from regular shampoo straight to this. You really have to transition. And that is so gentle and doesn't lather at all. So it's actually okay to use every single day. So I've been using that and washing my hair a little bit more often.
Do you think that, and this is also, and see, we opened the door to all the questions because now I have 100 questions. So,
Yeah.
so as you know, I'm recently just started wearing this topper, and so the clips started hurting me, and so I heard from a few ladies in the hairless community to use texturizer or dry shampoo so the clips won't hurt my hair. Like,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that? Or is there anything else that I can do so the clips don't hurt?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if your hair is still very oily, that is pretty much the best way that you can kind of keep the topper clips in place. I swear by that for oily scalps. My scalp isn't as oily anymore, so I don't need it, but in the beginning, I definitely needed it. One thing that I have found that kind of works is a lot of the times when people apply powder, you kind of just like shake it on your head or spray it directly onto your scalp, right?
Right.
And so thin-haired ladies, you're actually exposing a lot of your scalp directly with that product, which you don't really necessarily need to. What you need to do is get it at the roots of your hair, not necessarily your scalp. So what I am
Oh,
doing is I do need to apply powder is I flip my hair upside down and I kind of just like either like scrunch it in or spray at an angle so that you're spraying just the roots of your hair instead of like doing directly at your scalp. And I feel like that has helped me in terms of like it being a lot less itchy and irritating because my scalp has gotten so sensitive to those products now. That
yes.
you have to kind of do it at an angle for me.
So true. You know what I got super sensitive to was the root touch up. I don't know if
Yeah.
you ever used that. Oh my gosh, I can't do it anymore. I get red and itchy and yeah.
It's very shady to me that there's like, especially the ones that you get on Amazon.
Mm,
A lot of the times they don't have ingredient lists, and I'm just
I
like,
know.
you have absolutely no idea what you're putting on your scalp and ultimately your body. I mean, your scalp is one of the most absorbent parts of your body,
So
and
true.
you're putting that directly into your body. It just seems crazy to me, but I think that is a deeper question on in terms of hair loss, how taboo it is to talk about hair loss, especially female hair loss. And so therefore, a lot of the solutions are very shady because people don't talk about them.
So true.
I wish there was I think it's a huge opportunity. I wish there was clean hair care products specifically made for hair loss and
Mm,
concealing hair loss. I think we're still waiting on that. Whoever wants to do it, do
maybe that's your next venture.
it. Someone else do it, please.
I see you, Suran. I see you. Yeah, no, I love it. Well, awesome. Thank you so much. This has been, you're such a wealth of knowledge. Every time I talk to you, I learn so much. So thank you. Is there one last thing of advice you want to share with us before we leave?
Oh gosh. I feel like we've talked about so many different topics today. I mean, I at the end of the day, hair loss itself isn't the end of the world. I think that you, Valerie, have created amazing topics and webinars and conferences to reiterate that exact point and to give women both hope and confidence. And so I think that's probably the most important thing is at the end of the day, we talk about hair loss and how hard it is, but it's not the end of the world. And, there's so many other things to love and enjoy and be happy about other than hair loss, especially during this pandemic. That we're here for each other for all things outside of hair loss, but including hair loss. So thanks so much, Valerie, for hosting this, for continuously being a bright light to us, and for this conference. I'm really excited to see the other speakers too.
Absolutely, you're so welcome. And that's the idea, really. In the middle of this chaos, I want to bring some light. So thank you and everybody in the community. That's it. Well, that's it for Suran. And yeah, please make sure to go to read SilkorLace. I'm so excited for this new project. Make sure to send your pieces in. This is going to be a great option for everyone. All right. Thank you.